The gavel slammed down like a gunshot in the marbled courtroom, echoing off the vaulted ceilings of the Manhattan Federal Building. But it was the lawyer's voice, cold, clipped, and utterly final, that shattered me. Your Honor, my client withdraws all claims. This case is dead on arrival. I stood there in the back row, anonymous in my rumpled trench coat, my heart clawing its way up my throat as Alex's eyes, those piercing hazel eyes I'd once drowned in, swept the room without ever landing on me. In that frozen instant, as the judge banged the gavel again to seal the silence, I realized the man who'd taught me how to breathe had just stolen my last gasp. The rain-slicked streets of Midtown blurred past the cab window as I fled the courthouse, my phone buzzing like a hornet in my pocket. It was him. Of course it was him. Alex's name lit up the screen. A ghost from a life I'd buried under 6 months of therapy sessions and half-finished novels in dingy Brooklyn coffee shops. I let it ring, watching the droplets race each other down the glass, each one a memory I couldn't outrun. Our first kiss in that same courthouse lobby, after he'd won a pro bono case for some kid from the Bronx, rain pouring outside then too. But we'd laughed, soaked and alive. His tie askew, my fingers tangled in his perfect lawyer hair. But now it was just water turning everything gray. By the time I stumbled into my apartment on the edge of Williamsburg, the adrenaline had crashed, leaving me hollow. The place was a mess, stacks of legal pads I'd stolen from his office months ago, scribbled with half-formed story ideas about broken men and second chances. I was Dylan Harper, aspiring writer with a day job slinging lattes at a hipster cafe, and Alex had been my everything, the sharp-suited savior who saw potential in my chaos. We'd met 2 years ago at a queer-lit reading in the Village. I was reading from my zine, some raw piece about growing up gay in a Rust Belt town, hiding crushes on the quarterback while my dad preached fire and brimstone on Sundays. Alex had cornered me after, champagne flute in hand, his Brooks Brothers shirt unbuttoned just enough to show the edge of a tattoo, a quote from Whitman, "I am large. I contain multitudes." He'd said my words hit him like a freight train, that he needed more. And God, I'd given him everything. I collapsed onto the sagging couch, the one we'd picked out together from a flea market in Red Hook, its faded blue fabric still smelling faintly of his cologne, sandalwood and ambition. The phone buzzed again. Voicemail this time. I hit play before I could think better of it. "Dylan, it's me. What the hell was that today? You show up unannounced? Lurking like some Badmore detective? If you're trying to make a scene." I deleted it mid-sentence, my thumb slamming the screen so hard it cracked a little more. A scene? That was rich coming from the king of courtroom theatrics. Alex Whitaker, 32. Rising star at one of those white shoe firms on Park Avenue. The kind that defended billionaires while pretending to care about the little guy. He'd clawed his way up from a trailer park in Ohio, same as me from Pennsylvania coal country, but where I'd chased dreams in ink and caffeine, he'd armored himself in pinstripes and precedents. We were supposed to be the American Dream remix, 2 queer kids from nowhere, building a life in the city that never sleeps. Late nights in his sleek Upper East Side condo, me sprawled on Egyptian cotton sheets while he prepped depositions, stealing kisses between footnotes. "You're my heir, Dill," he'd murmur, his breath hot against my neck. "Can't breathe without you." But all of it. The truth had unraveled 6 months ago, in a sterile conference room that reeked of stale coffee and betrayal. I'd been fighting for custody of my little brother, Jamie, 17. Scared shitless after mom's overdose and dad's latest stint in county lockup. Alex had taken the case pro bono. His firm's community outreach bullshit. But I knew it was for me. Or so I thought. We'd pored over affidavits together, his hand steady on mine as we mapped out appeals. Then, the night before the hearing, I walked into his office unannounced, early, for once, and found him with his arms around some junior associate, a pretty boy with gelled hair and a trust fund smile. Their lips locked in a way that twisted my gut like a knife. "You said it was just work," I'd whispered when he finally noticed me, the door clicking shut behind like a guillotine. Alex had pulled away, face paling under the fluorescent buzz. But his eyes, those damn eyes, held no regret. Just calculation. "Dylan. It's not. Don't." My voice cracked. But I held his gaze, the room spinning with the weight of 2 years crumbling. "We're done." "File the papers without me," he tried to follow. But I was out the door, hailing a cab in the pouring rain, the city lights smearing into accusations. The custody hearing went south without him fighting like he promised. Jamie's aunt swooped in with her suburban minivan and Bible study group, painting me as the unstable queer brother who couldn't provide. Jamie ended up in Ohio with her, and I got supervised visits twice a year. Alex's firm spun it as a strategic withdrawal, but I knew better. He'd chosen his career, his secrets, over us. That was then. But today, I'd shown up at the courthouse on a whim, tailing a lead for a freelance piece on corporate greed. Ironic, right? But seeing him there, arguing for some tech mogul's tax dodge, it hit me like vertigo. He looked good, too good, tailored suit hugging his broad shoulders, that confident tilt to his chin. And when he uttered those words, withdrawing claims in a case I'd tipped him off about anonymously months ago, it felt personal. Like he'd erased the last thread connecting us. My phone lit up again, not Alex this time, but a text from my best friend. "Lena, saw the clip on TikTok. You okay? Bar in 20? Clip. Shit." In my haze fleeing the courtroom, some true crime podcaster had cornered me outside. Mic thrust in my face. "Mr. Harper, sources say you once dated Whitaker. Did he just tank this case to spite you?" I'd snapped, the words spilling out before I could stop them. "Alex Whitaker?" I told the world I no longer needed that lawyer. I forgot I once needed him to breathe. It went viral in hours, queer Twitter eating it up. Memes of gasping fish with my face photoshopped on. Forget to Breathe trended in Brooklyn by noon. Lena's bar was a dive called the Rusty Nail. Tucked under the Williamsburg Bridge. All exposed brick and rainbow flags frayed from too many pride marches. She slid a whiskey neat across the scarred oak as I slumped onto a stool, the burn chasing the chill from my bones. "You look like hell," she said, her dark curls tied back, tattooed arms crossing over her bartender apron. Lena Morales, 29, Latina firecracker who dragged me out of more than one post-breakup bender. We'd bonded over bad poetry slams and worse exes, hers a string of ghosting artists. Mine culminating in Mr. Perfect himself. "Feel like it," I muttered, downing half the glass. The jukebox crooned some old Springsteen, Thunder Road, and for a second, I was back in Alex's truck. Windows down on a Jersey Turnpike joyride. His hand on my thigh, promising forever. "So, Phil, why'd you go full dramatic monologue outside the courthouse?" Thought you were done with that circus. I shrugged, tracing the rim of my glass. Freelance gig. Corporate whistleblower story. Alex was repping the bad guy. I don't know. Seeing him up there, it just snapped. Lena arched a brow, pouring herself a soda. Dill, you've been ghosting that pain for months. Writing it out in your journal like some tortured poet. Time to burn the pages or something. She wasn't wrong. My notebook at home was a graveyard of unsent letters. Each one a confession. I miss the way you hummed off-key in the shower. I hate how you made me believe in us. Why wasn't I enough? But admitting that aloud? It'd make it real. And real hurt too much. The door swung open, letting in a gust of November chill. And heads turned. Not for the weather, for the man striding in like he owned the joint. Cashmere coat slung over one arm. Eyes scanning the dim room until they locked on me. Alex. Of course. In a city of 8 million, fate, or bad luck, always conspired to throw us together. Dylan. His voice cut through the murmur, low and urgent, as he closed the distance. Up close, the lines around his eyes were deeper, a silver thread at his temple I hadn't noticed before. He looked. A petty voice in my head whispered. Lena tensed beside me, her hand inching toward the baseball bat under the bar. We're closed for renovations. Counselor. Come back never. But I waved her off, sliding off the stool to face him. The whiskey buzzed in my veins, sharpening everything, the faint stubble on his jaw, the way his cologne still twisted my gut. What do you want? Alex? Autograph? Soundbite for your next deposition? His jaw tightened, that lawyer mask cracking. We need to talk. Privately. That stunt today, it's blowing up my caseload. Clients are pulling out, thinking I'm some heartbroken fool leaking to exes. I left. Sharp and bitter, the sound echoing off the neon signs. Heartbroken? That's your problem? Not the fact that you threw away everything for a quick fuck in your office? Or how you let my brother slip away because it was bad optics for your promotion? The bar went quiet, patrons averting eyes. But Alex didn't flinch. He stepped closer, voice dropping to that intimate timbre that used to unravel me. I messed up. Every damn day since you left. No. I held up a hand, my chest tight, breath shallow. You don't get to mess up and waltz back in. I told the world I don't need you. And I meant it. But as I turned away, his fingers grazed my wrist, electric, familiar, and for a heartbeat, I forgot how to breathe all over again. The rusty nails back alley smelled like wet asphalt and regret. The kind that clings to your clothes long after you've shaken it off. Alex followed me out, the door banging shut behind us, muffling Springsteen's howl. I lit a cigarette with shaking hands, bad habit I'd picked up post-breakup. The one he used to lecture me about over organic kale smoothies. But he just watched. Hands shoved in his pockets, breath fogging in the cold. Took, I said, exhaling smoke like a shield. The city hummed beyond the chain-link fence, taxis honking, distant sirens wailing a siren's song for lost souls. He ran a hand through his hair, that perfectly coiffed mess I'd loved tousling. The case today, it wasn't about you. The whistleblower backed out, evidence was thin. I had to pull the plug or risk sanctions. Bullshit. I flicked ash onto the puddle at our feet, watching it hiss. You saw me there. You always spot me in a crowd. And that line? Dead on arrival? Poetic. Like you killed us all over again. Alex's eyes, hazel flecked with gold. The color of autumn leaves in Central Park, darkened. You think I don't see you? You're all I see. Every deposition, every late night, it's your ghost in the room. That junior associate? It was one mistake. A weak moment after a brutal loss. I ended it before you even walked in. Liar. The word tasted like bile, but I forced it out. You chose him. Your career. The aunt with the pearl clutch got Jamie because you didn't fight. Said it was settlement strategy. Strategy for what? Keeping your hands clean? He winced. Stepping into my space. Close enough I could feel the heat radiating off him. I fought. Behind the scenes. Calls to judges. Backroom deals. But you shut me out. Wouldn't take my calls. My help. I thought space would. Space. I shoved him back. Cigarette tumbling into the dark. You call betrayal space? I needed you. Alex. Jamie needed us. He's in that beige hellhole now. Texting me about football games he hates and prayers before bed. And me? I'm scraping by. Pitching stories to outlets that pay in exposure. Wondering if I'll ever write something that isn't laced with your shadow. The rain started again. Light at first. Then sheeting down. Turning the alley into a river. He didn't move. Water plastering his shirt to his chest. Outlining the tattoos I'd traced with my tongue 100 times. Then let me fix it. Jamie's 18th in 2 months. I can petition for transfer. No. My voice broke. Raw as the wind whipping off the East River. You don't get to swoop in like some caped crusader. I told the world I don't need you. Forget. Trying to forget that I once thought I did. To breathe. Alex. That's what you were. Oxygen in a chokehold world. He reached for me then. Tentative. His palm cupping my jaw like it used to. Thumb brushing my rain-slicked cheek. You still do. We both do. Remember the cabin? That weekend in the Catskills? Just us. No briefs or baristas. You read me your novel draft by the fire. And I. Stop. But I didn't pull away. As his forehead pressed to mine. Breaths mingling in the downpour. The kiss came unbidden, fierce, desperate, tasting of salt and smoke and all the unsaid sorries. His hands fisted in my wet shirt, pulling me flush. And for 30 damning seconds, the world narrowed to his mouth on mine, the press of his body like coming home. Then reality crashed back. I broke it, gasping, shoving him harder this time. This isn't fixing shit. It's just habit. Dylan, go. I backed toward the door, chest heaving. Before I forget why I hate you, he lingered, eyes searching mine, then nodded once, sharp as a verdict. This isn't over. And he was gone, melting into the night like a bad dream. Inside, Lena pressed a fresh whiskey into my hand. No questions asked. You kiss him? Worse, I muttered, sinking onto the stool. I remembered why I did. The next week blurred into a fever dream of viral fallout. My soundbite exploded, podcasts dissecting it, queer influencers hailing me as the ex who slayed, Even a snarky New Yorker piece calling it, "The Breakup Heard Round the Bar." Freelance offers trickled in. A profile on corporate closet cases for Out magazine. A first person on queer custody battles for The Atlantic. For the first time since the split, my inbox hummed with possibility, not rejection slips. But Alex haunted the edges. A delivery showed up at the cafe, lavender roses, my favorite, with a note in his precise script, "Breathe easy." I tossed them in the trash, but Lena fished one out, tucking it behind my ear. Hate the game, not the player. Me, Joe. Nights were worse. I'd wake sweating from dreams of him, his laugh echoing in empty courtrooms, his fingers mapping my skin like case law. One particularly brutal evening, after a pitch call went south, I cracked open that stolen legal pad and let the words bleed out. Not a letter this time, a story. Our story, fictionalized, a writer and a lawyer in a city of secrets, love as fragile as a plea bargain. By dawn, I'd hit 5,000 words, raw and raging, the kind of prose that could gut a reader. I sent it to my agent, a no-nonsense dyke named Rita who'd repped me since my MFA days at Columbia. Her email came at noon. "Holy shit. This is it. Polish and we'll shop it. But lose the self-pity, lean into the fire." Fire. Yeah. That's what I needed. So I texted Jamie, a rare Saturday call, his voice tinny over the line from Aunt Karen's landline. "Bro. You holding up?" To that awkward teen bark. "Karen's making me join the debate club. Says it'll straighten me out. Get it?" We both snorted. The shared joke a lifeline across state lines. "Listen, G. I'm working on something. A story about us. About fighting back. Send it when it's done." The pause. Then softer, "Miss you. That lawyer guy. He was kinda awesome." My throat tightened. Yeah. He was. Emboldened. I dove deeper, researching custody reforms, interviewing other queer families fractured by the system. The Atlantic piece landed. Pay enough for a deposit on a better apartment. Maybe even a ticket to Ohio for Jamie's birthday. Power hummed in my veins, the kind that didn't depend on hazel eyes or whispered promises. But fate, that cruel Brooklyn bitch, had other plans. 2 weeks later, scrolling X over cold pizza, I saw it, Alex tagged in a thread. A grainy photo from some gala. Arm around that same junior associate. Now promoted to partner track. Their smiles polished as champagne flutes. The caption, "Whitaker and Association, winning together. Power couple, betrayal. Round 2. My phone was in my hand before I thought. Dialing his number, voicemail. As always now. "Congratulations on the upgrade," I snarled into the beep. Guess some things never change. "Don't call again." I blocked him, deleted the thread, and poured another drink. But the hurt festered, twisting into resolve. If he could move on so easily, so could I. Lena dragged me to a queer open mic that night, the rusty nail packed with poets and performers spilling truths under strung lights. I signed up on a whim, heart pounding as my name crackled over the mic. The stage lights blinded me, but I gripped the stand, voice steady. I told the world I no longer needed that lawyer, forgetting I once needed him to breathe. The room hushed. Leaning in as I read from my phone, The viral rant remixed into verse, lines about lungs full of city smog. Love as a suspended sentence. Betrayal's gavel-cracking ribs. Applause thundered when I finished. Strangers hugging me, shouting, "Slay." But in the green room, nursing a ginger ale, I approached her with kind brown eyes and a faded Ramones tee. That was bartender down the street. Buy you a coffee sometime? I hesitated. Alex's ghost whispering no one's enough. But I smiled. Yeah. Tomorrow, as he walked away. Number exchanged. A weight lifted, not gone, but lighter. Breathing room. Little did I know. Across town, Alex was unraveling. His doorman buzzed him up to an empty condo. The junior associate's promotion, a polite fiction to end their fling. The roses returned. Undelivered. And that voicemail? It played on loop. His chest caving with every word. Theo was easy, like slipping into a favorite hoodie after years of starched collars. We met at a hole-in-the-wall on Bedford Avenue. The kind with mismatched mugs and chalkboard menus boasting ethically sourced beans that tasted like heaven. He was 30, a graphic designer moonlighting as a barista, with laugh lines that crinkled when he teased me about my lawyer exorcism poem. No baggage, no boardrooms, just stories of road trips through the Southwest, sketching red rocks at sunset, and a golden retriever named Gus who photobombed every selfie. Our first date stretched into hours, walking the High Line as dusk painted the Hudson purple. His hand brushing mine accidental on purpose until our fingers laced. Natural as breathing. He kissed me goodnight under the buzz of my building's faulty street lamp, soft. Exploratory. No desperate edges. Your trouble? Dylan Harper, he murmured against my lips. Grinning. The good kind. I wanted to believe it. Nights blurred into weeks. Movie marathons in his Bushwick walk-up. Gus sprawled across our laps. Popcorn wars escalating to tickle fights. Theo read my story drafts. Not with Alex's analytical squint but wide-eyed wonder. This character's heartbreak? It's alive. Makes me ache for him. And when I finally let slip about Jamie, the custody war. He didn't offer fixes, just listened. Then drove me to a family law clinic uptown, waiting in the lobby with bad vending machine coffee. For the first time in forever, I felt steady. My novel took shape. Chapters flying from fingertips fueled by Theo's encouragement and Lena's brutal edits. The Atlantic piece spawned invites, a TEDx talk on queer resilience, a spot on a podcast dissecting the viral breakup. I turned them into paid gigs. The bank account ticking up. Dreams inching from pipe to plausible. But shadows lingered. A manila envelope arrived one gray Tuesday. No return address, Alex's firm logo stamped discreet. Inside, court docs. A petition for Jamie's emancipation. Filed under my name, with Alex listed as counsel. A note clipped to the top, he's ready. Fight with me this time. My hands shook as I scanned the pages. Jamie's affidavit? Scrawled in his looping script, I want to live with Dylan. He's family. Evidence stacked, my rising profile, stable income, therapy records proving I was reformed. Alex had pulled strings, character witnesses from his network. Even a psych eval framing the aunt's home as repressive. It was airtight. A lifeline tossed into the abyss. I should have shredded it. Instead, I called Jamie. You signed this? His voice cracked with relief. Yeah. Aunt Karen flipped. But I hate it here. No one's like us. The word gutted me. That night, Theo found me on the fire escape, staring at the skyline like it held answers. What's eating you? I handed him the packet. Words tumbling, the full saga, Alex's betrayal, the viral rant, now this olive branch wrapped in legalese. Theo read in silence, then set it down, pulling me inside to the warmth of his bed. You don't know him shit. But if it gets Jamie home, maybe it's not about forgiving. It's about winning. Winning. The word echoed as I prepped for the hearing. A far cry from last time's solo nightmare. Theo tagged along for moral support. Lena as my +1 firebrand. Even Rita flying in from her LA office for moral authority. And Alex, seated at counsel. Suit impeccable. But eyes shadowed. Like he'd aged a decade in months. The courtroom felt smaller this time. The judge a no-nonsense woman with a rainbow pin on her robe. Alex presented like a maestro, exhibits flashing on screens. Jamie taking the stand in a thrift store blazer that hung loose on his lanky frame. Dill's the only one who gets it, he said. Voice steady despite the quiver. Being, gay in a world that pretends it's fixed. He fights for me. The aunt's lawyer droned on stability. Tradition, but cracks showed, her straightening comments logged in emails. Jamie's plummeting grades. Cross-examination was brutal. Alex dismantled her with surgical precision. No flourishes. Just facts that bled truth. Then in the hallway. Cornered me. Tie loosened. Vulnerability cracking through. Came. I wasn't sure. For Jamie, I said. Arms crossed. Theo hovered nearby. A quiet anchor. Not you. Alex nodded. Swallowing hard. Fair. But Dill. That story you're writing. Rita sent me the partial. It's brilliant. Hurts like hell. But brilliant. I froze. Rita? Traitor. Stay out of my life. Can't. His voice dropped. Theo, he's good for you. Steady. But if you ever. I get it if not. Just know I'm sorry. For the associate. The pullback on Jamie. I was scared. Of losing the climb. Yeah. But mostly of not being enough for you. The gavel called us back before I could respond. Verdict came swift. Custody to me. Supervised transition. Jamie hooped from the bench. Hugging me fierce as we exited. Theo clapping his back with a grin. Welcome to the chaos. Kid. Said. Rain held off for once. Sun breaking through like a benediction. Jamie posed for selfies with Lena. Plotting his Brooklyn takeover, art school dreams. Pride parades. I signed his emancipation papers on the courthouse steps. Freedom in black ink. Alex lingered at the edge. Briefcase in hand. I'll handle the appeals if needed. Pro bono. No strings. I met his gaze. The old pull warring with new ground. Thanks. But next time, ask before you play hero. Genuine. Noted. And walked away. No backward glance. That night, Theo and I celebrated at the Rusty Nail, Jamie nursing a root beer. Lena DJing a playlist of queer anthems. As Frank Ocean crooned about lost lovers, Theo pulled me onto the tiny dance floor, his chin on my shoulder. Proud of you. Trouble. Me too. And I was, for the first time. But in the quiet hours later, Jamie asleep on my couch, Theo's arm heavy across my waist. I wondered, could you forgive without forgetting? Need someone without needing to breathe? The answer hovered, elusive as city fog. Months spun forward. A whirlwind of firsts, Jamie enrolling at Pratt. His sketches cluttering my new two-bedroom in Greenpoint, rent split 3 ways with his part-time gig. My novel sold in a flurry to a mid-tier press. Title a nod to that viral night, Gavel's Echo. Theo illustrated the cover, abstract hearts cracked like marble halls, gold leaf glinting hope. Alex faded to footnotes, holiday cards with Jamie's updates, a congratulatory email on the book deal. No more roses. No please. Rumors swirled he'd left the firm for a nonprofit, litigating for queer foster kids, trading pinstripes for purpose. Then, the launch party, a swanky spot in Soho. Rainbow streamers and craft cocktails. Literati buzzing over canapes. I read an excerpt, the betrayal scene. Voice thick with remembered ache. Applause swelled. Theo's whoop loudest from the front row. In the courtroom haze, Alex appeared, casual blazer. Note a dog-eared copy of my arc clutched like contraband. Mind signing? For old times. I took the pen, hesitating. Why now? He shrugged. That boyish tilt returning. Heard you're happy. Deserve it. But I miss breathing easy too. The words hung. A bridge or a bomb. Theo approached then, hand on my back, sensing the charge. Everything good? Yeah. I signed with a flourish, to the man who taught me to fight dirty. Breathe on. Handed it back. Take care. Counselor. He nodded, eyes shining. You too. Writer. As he slipped away, Theo pulled me close. Ghost. I kissed him, deep and sure. But I'm done haunting, said. City lights beckoned, endless. Electric. Jamie waited by the curb, portfolio under arm, dreaming aloud of gallery shows. We hailed a cab. 3 queers against the world. Lungs full. Strides bold. Forgiveness? Maybe. But freedom, that was the real climax. Summer crashed into New York like a fever dream. Humidity thick as unspoken truths. Turning sidewalks into saunas and hearts into open wounds. My book tour kicked off in a whirlwind. Boston readings where Brahmin accents mangled my name. Chicago panels debating queer noir. San Francisco signings with drag queens hawking merch. Theo tagged along where he could. His sketches turning tour bus downtime into collaborative magic. Marginals in my journals blooming into full illustrations for the paperback. Jamie thrived. 18 now and fierce. Interning at a queer youth center. Dating a non-binary sculptor with electric blue hair. His laughter filling our apartment like sunlight through cracked blinds. Dill. You gotta meet them, total vibe. I'd ruffle his hair. The same chestnut mess as mine. And feel the miracle of it, family. Forged not born. But cracks spiderweb beneath the gloss. Late night calls from Theo's ex, a toxic musician type. Circling like a shark scenting blood, stirred old insecurities. He's just checking in, Theo'd say. But I'd catch the flinch. The way his phone buzzed silenced. And me? Alex's signed book sat on my shelf. A talisman I couldn't toss. Its pages dog-eared at the redemption arc I'd rewritten in his image. The climax hit in LA. Final stop, a rooftop reading at the Ace Hotel. Sunset bleeding orange over the sprawl. The crowd was electric, industry suits, Instapoets, a smattering of Midwestern transplants like me, chasing reinvention. I poured it out, the hook of betrayal, the slow burn of rebuilding, climaxing in that courthouse victory, the human ache of choosing self over savior. Q&A turned confessional. The fan, voice trembling, your ex, the lawyer. Did you ever? I paused, mic hot in my grip, city hum underscoring the quiet. Thea watched from the wings. Steady, Jamie texted from Brooklyn, kill it? Forgiveness isn't a switch, I said finally. It's a sentence you serve daily. To help me do? The kind that rewires your lungs. But he also showed me how to fight. So yeah, I needed him once. To breathe. To break. To begin again. Applause crested. But inside, the words unlocked something, a floodgate. Backstage, Theo enveloped me. Kiss tasting of victory rose. That was you. All fire. We extended the trip. A weekend in Joshua Tree, tent pitched under star-pricked skies. Gus romping through yucca. Jamie FaceTiming ghost stories from home. Around the campfire, Theo cracked open, admitting the ex's texts were pleas for closure, not temptation. I chose you. Message. Brilliant you. I believed him, pulling him close. The desert wind whispering absolution. But dawn brought a call. Rita? Voice clipped. Your lawyer buddy? He's in trouble. Pro bono case gone south. Client accused of fraud. Firm countersuing him personally. He's underwater. Alex. Of course. The news hit like déjà vu. That old pull tightening like a noose. I booked a red-eye back. Theo understanding without question. Go. Be the hero this time. Manhattan greeted me with autumn bite. Leaves skittering like secrets across Central Park. I found him in a sublet near Union Square, Spartan. Stacks of files burying the futon. Takeout containers testament to siege. He answered the door hollow-eyed. Shirtum. The Whitman tattoo peeking like a bruise. Dylan. Surprise flickered. Then resignation. Heard you were conquering the West Coast. Cut the charm. I pushed past. Dropping my bag. Rita says you're drowning. What's the play? He sank onto the couch. Rubbing temples. Kid I repped, trans-teen. Foster system chewed him up. I got him placed. But the agency cooked the books. Pinned it on him. Now they're coming for me. Malpractice? Ethics breach. Could lose the bar. The room spun with echoes. My custody fight. His strategic retreats. Why not fight dirty? Call in favors. Leak to the press. His laugh was bitter. Hello. Tried. No one's biting. Too messy. Too queer-coded. I'm toxic now. Bullshit. I paced. Mind racing like a deposition. Your network, those white shoe pricks owe you. And my platform. The book's got traction. I can spin it, corrupt system versus. The little lawyer who could. He looked up. Hazel depths cracking. But after everything, because fuck letting it win. Voice softening. Maybe. Because you taught me that. Even when you failed me. We strategized till midnight, me drafting op-eds, him prepping countersuits. Dawn found us crashed on the floor. Files as pillows. His head on my shoulder, platonic, but charged. Theo called it sunrise. You okay? Yeah. Fixing a ghost. The beat. Love you. Back. Always. The counterattack launched fierce. My guardian piece, the lawyer who breathed for the forgotten, went viral. Save Alex trending with Forget to Breathe remixes. Donors flooded his defense fund. Queer orgs rallied amicus briefs. Jamie even showed, hauling pizza and moral support. The three of us a makeshift war room. Hearing day dawned crisp. Federal courthouse gleaming like judgment. Alex in his element, scarred but sharp, dismantled the agency's lies with evidence I'd unearthed in dusty records. The judge ruled in his favor, suit dismissed. Sanctions on them. As the gavel fell, turned to me, eyes wet. We did it. You did. But I pulled him into a hug, brief, brotherly, sealing the chapter. Over beers at the Rusty Nail. The full circle closed. Theo met us there. Arms open to Jamie. Clinking glasses with Alex like old allies. To breathing, Lena toasted. Winking. Alex raised his pint. To needing and not. He moved on after that, non-profit thriving. A quiet life with an adjunct prof who baked sourdough and quoted Auden. We texted sparingly, book launch invites. Jamie's graduation pics. No more needing to breathe, just grateful inhales. The novel hit shelves. A quiet bestseller in indie shops. Its epilogue a nod to redemption's gray edges. Theo and I bought a fixer-upper in Ditma's park. Porch swing. Gus's yard. Jamie's room always open. Weddings whispered in future tenses. Rings glinting in daydreams. One October Eve. Leaves aflame in the park. Theo proposed under the Bethesda fountain, on one knee. Sketchpad heart in hand. Asking not for my air, but my days. Breathe with me, he said. Ring simple silver. Engraved multitudes. Yes, I whispered. Pulling him up. The city our witness. And as we walked home, hands linked, I glanced back. No ghosts. Just shadows lengthening into night. I told the world I didn't need that lawyer. Forgetting once how vital he'd been. But memory's a teacher, not a chain. I breathed free. Alive. In the end, love wasn't oxygen or verdict. It was choice, the daily yes to mess, to multitudes, to the beautiful brokenness of us.